I would be lying to y'all if I told y'all I wasn't excited for today, man. It is game 1 of the NBA Finals! And this is poised to be one of the most toxic NBA Finals I've honestly ever seen, period, point blank. I feel like for a lot of y'all as well, it'll be in that same category. And this is from a new channel I've never actually seen before, The Urinating Tree. The Haters Guide to the 2024 NBA Finals, bruh. Oh my goodness. This should be fun, man. This finals should be fun. And I am here for it. I am here for it. Let's get it started.
Call me an old curmudgeon, but I hate the playing games. Cheap cash grabs that put mediocrity on a pedestal. Even then, Miami did make it to the finals from there last year. And they're still considered playoffs, so I'll start with those for the sake of tradition. And this first elimination is one that many fans have celebrated. The Warriors finally dead? Am I dreaming?
Oh, nah. Is this a playoffs recap?
NBA over the years may be reaching their downfall.
Hey!
And it happened in the Mediocrity Invitational to the Kings. Kinda hard to win when you turn the ball over 16 times. Not exactly good when a team known for prowess beyond the arc was substandard in that category. Choked out of Sacramento like Draymond did to Rudy. Revenge granted to their opponent. There will be no miracles here. Clay's headed to the open market and the core might not have much time left. Curry can only chuck threes for so long before his body goes. CP3, your magic in delivering winning to franchises has been thwarted. And this might be the end of the road. He will be enshrined at Naismith, but he's like Sauron after the eruption of Mount Doom. No rings. Rest in peace, Dejan Milojevic. The perpetual jinx that is Sacramento shall continue on. I don't understand.
The Lakers. I forgot
Against
about
most
that.
teams, they're a formidable opponent that's versatile and balanced. When they play,
Bro, the play-in tournament legitimately feels like it was 4 or 5 months ago, bro. When we talk about the playoffs truly being its own season, like, it really is no joke, bro. It literally feels like yesterday when the playoffs started. And it's really only been a month and some change. But what the fuck was going on a month and some change ago, bro? Feels like 3 years. Like, it's it's fucking crazy out here, man.
Play the Pelicans, they morph into their Vlade Divac's GM days. If you take out their games against New Orleans, the Kings would have probably been the 6th seed. That's how bad things were. Winless in every contest. And most of them were blowouts. But what the hell was the excuse in the playing game? They were without Zion.
Cookies.
Down their best player and you're still getting wrecked by 20? You held CJ McCollum to 7 points and you still can't shoot from 3?
Damn.
What the hell? Do you know the lesson here? Don't play your worst basketball just before the playoffs. If you do, you get stuck in mud like the Kings. Does everyone remember when they shocked the world and made the conference finals a few years ago?
These playing games taught me to not trust the Chicago Bulls. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, if there's one team I have disliked pretty consistently throughout this whole season, that's been the Chicago Bulls. Just for their stagnancy and wasting everyone's time. But I will say this, despite all of that, what they showed me against the Hawks was on some, okay, I mean, listen, their future's kind of fucked. Obviously, they're not championship contenders, but right now, they got some solid ball players. You know what I'm saying? They can win one game. And for them to lose to the Heat the way that they did was pretty disappointing. It was pretty disappointing, man. I had trust in the Chicago Bulls to get that one done right there, but to no avail.
That almost seems like ancient history. In fact, I'm more amazed they made it there when they live up to the modern NBA stereotype. They don't play defense. Even if they tried, they cannot play defense. An open door to showcase the offensive talents of their opponents. Sure, blame injuries, but when you're getting the doors blown off you by the fucking Bulls, it's time to look in the mirror. This franchise needs a hard reset. When the rumors of trading away DeJounte and Trey are as rampant as they are, it's inevitable. Do you really want to build around a guy with a minus 27-point differential on the floor?
Damn.
Things are a mess and the organization's a shit show? Nah, best to bury your head in the sand. The Hawks won the lottery. It's gonna mask a shitload of issues. Oh no. Detroit got the 5th pick again? That's cruel.
Yo, Detroit sucks at sucking, bro. Like, I actually feel bad for the Pistons. For the Hawks, though, getting that #1 pick, I am excited for draft season to ramp up. I'm going to be spending a lot of time on this channel just trying to get to know, at the very least, the top-level prospects. The draft has never been my expertise. I'm not going to act like I know everything about this draft or any draft, to be honest with you. I'm more, because the translation from the draft to the league, there's just so many different factors. I do feel like there's a level of guessing game as well, and just, you know, you think something's going to happen and it didn't work out. So I'm more so of a guy that just waits till I see the product in the NBA to make my judgments. But I am excited for the draft, though. I am excited for the draft. There's been a lot of talk about who the number 1 pick should be, what Atlanta should do with that number 1 pick. Should they trade it? And even the names. We were talking about it on Playback, bro. Like, and SOLZ and Sage, like, I don't know the last time we went into a draft where there wasn't really like a consensus number 1 pick. Or at the very least, there's been some years where it's a toss-up between 1, 2, maybe 3 players. But the fact that there's been so many names that I've heard being thrown at that number 1 spot is very interesting and kind of alarming to me, because the last time I genuinely thought this was the Anthony Bennett draft. I think outside of the Anthony Bennett draft in recent history, there's been a clear 1, 2, and 3 in every single draft. 2016 had the same feeling at that 3 spot specifically, because for those who don't remember, that was the Ben Simmons draft. It was Ben Simmons, Brandon Ingram at 3, where the Celtics were picking. It could have been Buddy Hield, it could have been Jamal Murray, it could have been Chris Dunn, and Jaylen Brown being picked at that spot was actually a surprise at that time. But having that same issue at the 1 spot is kind of alarming to me. But not to say it's a weak draft, but at the very least at that top level, that is interesting.
And hilarious. I'm more surprised that the Bulls managed to beat the shit out of a team before this moment. This is entirely predictable from the organizational equivalent of limbo. Getting scorched by the heat. A group without Jimmy Buckets at that.
Yeah,
that doesn't scream middling dog
too.
shit, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
Somewhere Sam Hinkie and Sam Presti wake up in a cold sweat. Chicago needs to be nuked. They have nothing that signifies a playoff caliber roster and are trying to bash through a brick wall with a foam dodgeball. Not to mention DeRozan's a UFA. This is the failure of the playing game. It gives teams like this pretend relevance so they can say nothing's truly wrong. Don't rip the Band-Aid off, there's promise in there somewhere. Did you see
how do y'all feel about the play-in tournament? I feel like that's one of the most polarizing things Adam Silver has done. I'm personally a fan of it just because it allows teams to just try, more teams to try harder in the regular season, given that if you're a 10 seed, you have a chance of making it to the playoffs. And also I like the fact that it essentially starts the playoffs sooner. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're getting more high leverage basketball games that actually count towards something. So I personally like the play-in tournament, but apparently this guy's pretty negative on it. I've had conversations with Omar too, and he's pretty negative on it. Just in terms of it's giving participation trophy. You know, it's giving like if you're an 8 seed, just you didn't make the cut, bruh. I'm sorry. You know, if you're not the 8 seed, you didn't make the cut. Better luck next year. You know, get better type shit. So
all Kobe White did against Atlanta? No matter what happens to them in a given season, it becomes Groundhog Day in New Orleans. Just like the groundhog may or may not see his shadow, Zion sees an injury for at least 6 weeks on the job.
Because Zion was going crazy in that game, bro.
No Zion, no winning. Except against the Kings, apparently. There was none of that luck against OKC, as the Pelicans were repeatedly struck by lightning. This was supposed to be a series? I think people simply forgot and just dooed and awed at Chet Holmgren and SGA. You wanted the smoke? Well, they brought the thunder. And New Orleans just lied down and died. Send these fuckers to Galveston. The dirty water there will wash them away like refuse on the beach. I'm somehow not surprised by this. Just because Kobe got a statue doesn't mean your fortunes will change. The Lakers have been a team in turmoil for a number of years now. And despite constant coaching changes and drama ahoy, they can't seem to find that spark that made them a threat in the past. Flashes of excellence, but against Denver? Yeah. Good luck with all that. The Nuggets are a nightmare for them matchup-wise. I get that, but did you have to seriously blow double-digit leads at halftime in Denver
is West Miami versus Boston. At this point to me, bro, Like, I truly think that's a true rivalry. I think it's kind of reversed in terms of the fact that the team that's not favored going into the series, like the other team is the boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the Lakers' boogeyman is the Denver Nuggets. On the other side, the Celtics' boogeyman is the Miami Heat, even though they're the ones favored going into that series. But, boy, it's just... Denver plays different when they play LA, bro. Like, I've seen it too many times these last 2 years. And if I'm a Laker fan, I'm just so annoyed that actually, like, a team was actually able to make them look human the next round, given the additional context that the previous round, the Lakers had multiple, like, 20-point leads, bro. Like, it's actually crazy.
Multiple games? Is that the price for finally beating Joker in a game in the playoffs? Or is it LeBron being critical of officiating? Oh no, you can't get double the free throw attempts of your opponent like in the play-in game. We'll feel so sad when you play with Thanasis James. But you shouldn't feel bad at all, Lakers fans. Hey! You have another Mickey Mouse trophy to cherish. The in-season tournament? This is the NBA's response to the NFL infringing on Christmas? The biggest story in basketball this side of back-to-back humiliating exits from the playoffs. Phoenix was hungry to get out of a self-imposed hell. A deal with the devil had to be reached. His name happens to be Bradley Beal, a super team rivaling the Brooklyn Nets in size and notoriety. There's only one problem with everything. You have no bench, and you have no point guard. With only 3.5 players on the roster, the supposed super team
y'all had no bench, y'all had no point guard, and that defense was always such a shit to me. I'm sorry, bro. I'm not even saying that y'all have a lot of bad defenders and liabilities, but a defense being anchored respectfully by Yusuf Nurkic and KD, that ain't moving me, bro. That ain't moving me.
Turned into a supernova. Know how bad it got? They got swept by the Timberwolves. Not even swept, more like completely obliterated by them. This was a team the Suns had crushed all season. Mr. Beal, congrats on the first sweep in your life by fouling out in Game 4. What a wonderful package of rewards this will bring. No control of any of their draft picks until 2031. Locked into brutal contracts, and Beal doesn't seem keen on showing you mercy. You can't admit total failure in an enterprise, though. Hey! Simply cut the head coach's heart out. Frank Vogel will be sacrificed for the rise of Mike Budenholzer? Nothing like desperation. Breaking news. James Harden is upset. I repeat, James Harden is upset. In a situation that's never played out in his career, he's off to greener pastures to form a championship core with a team that doesn't get close to it. Strange for the Lakers' little brother with a white-hot start to simply wilt like an old flower, but traditions cannot be forgotten. Another notch of failure is added against the Mavericks. What do you think happened? Like the sun setting in the west, Kawhi suffered another injury.
That's crazy, man. Jeez. I don't... Again, I'm never going to say that Kawhi wants to be injured. I think that's weird. But I'm tired of hearing but we didn't have Kawhi excuse. I think Clippers fans don't even pull that excuse anymore. Like, I think Clippers fans have given up on that too. Like, bro, Kawhi not being there is your playoff default setting. I'm sorry, bro. That is y'all default setting. Same thing in the East with Joel Embiid, bro. I'm tired of hearing, but if Joel, no, he's never 100% in the playoffs, bro. That is his default setting. You can also make that case in the regular season, damn near. But I'm just tired of that shit, dog.
Right knee inflammation put the Clippers up in flames.
Damn!
No load management in the world could save them from Luka's wrath. The only reason why more people aren't laughing at the Clippers is because Phoenix happened. Yet even then, the questions linger on. It starts with PG.
The only reason the people aren't laughing at the Clippers is because the night that the Clippers got eliminated, was it Meet the Grams that dropped? I just remember the end of this series was in the middle of the Drake and Kendrick beef when shit was going off. For real. And I just remember, like, yo, like the timeline and me saying, like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, Kendrick and Drake really saved the Clippers from being the pack of the day. Because everyone was getting smoked. Like, the Lakers got smoked in the first round. The Suns got smoked in the first round. And the Clippers with the championship aspirations that they got, the super team that they formed, Kawhi being injured again, losing to Luka, like motherfuckers really forgot about that because of the Kendrick Drake beef. But nah, that shit still happened. That still happened.
G13. He may have played his last game in LA. Will Kawhi give a decent return on investment for his new extension? What happens with Westbrook? Even with a new logo and extending Tyronn Lue, there's still a lingering stench with this franchise. I give it another 3 months before Harden gets upset again. Buddy, if you keep shitting it in the clutch, maybe the problem is you. Alas, the voodoo sorcery of undrafted spirits can no longer save you. Miami had that power in seasons past, but against this Boston team, they learned from last year's horrifying Game 7. The Celtics have that old Irish luck. This leprechaun smoking a victory cigar along with Red up above.
Oh, yeah.
Their opponent's best player is unable to play due to an injury suffered in the pity tournament. It's going to be a very short series.
I wanted Jimmy Hunter.
When said injured player is trolling the Celtics on social media, he'll get called out for it by Pat Riley. The problem with the Heat is that they need every single thing to go right for them to go far. Even with an incredible comeback in Game 1, Boston was just way too much for them. Despite no Porzingis in Game 5. Do they have enough to get over the dreaded wall? Jimmy's not exactly a spring chicken anymore. It's a frustrating endeavor indeed.
Yeah, like I said earlier, bro. Like, all respect to Miami because they have been comped over these last 4 years. But outside of 2022, there hasn't been a playoff run where the Heat weren't fighting an uphill battle, where everything just had to go right. Now, luckily, I think in the 2 runs that they made it to the finals, like, hey, they executed properly, and you got to give them fucking credit. But it's always, like, it feels like you always have to rely on some outlier-ass shooting or some ungodly-like performances from Jimmy Butler to make it far into the playoffs. And if I'm a Heat fan, the highs were high, but I'm like, bro, can we just, kind of similar to the Celtics this year, like, bro, this shit fun. I'm glad y'all are, getting it done in certain situations, but can we just have like a relatively stress-free run in the finals? Can we go into a series and like be favored going into a series because we have the right personnel and we don't have to overachieve like crazy? Like, can we just do that? So in terms of the problems with the Heat, I don't even think it's a Jimmy Butler issue. And I'm for Pat Riley holding Jimmy Butler accountable, but also to Pat Riley, like, Eric Spoelstra is trying his fucking best. And I think Miami would be so much better if Eric Spoelstra actually had championship level talent to coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he's doing this with this type of talent, now I understand it's not necessarily a one-to-one thing, because I've seen it before. Some motherfuckers are just built to overachieve. But I think Eric Spoelstra, because of the fact that he's also won with LeBron and the Heat early in the 20s, like, he has the track record to get it done with great supporting cast too. He has a track record of overachieving with not as talented of a crew. Pat Riley, you got to get Eric Spoelstra some help. You got to get him some help.
The more things change, the more they somehow stay the same. At the beginning of the year, there was hope. Philly looking strong, Maxey becoming a star, and Joel Embiid putting together an MVP season of envy. Then Embiid got injured. The season was over right there. It's not just that the Sixers are worse without him, and they're nearly useless. They went into free fall without their big man. And despite a massive return to form once he came back, it wasn't enough to beat the Knicks. You can't stop Jalen Brunson, you get to lose the series. A pure infestation of New York cancer that spread everywhere. Even Wells Fargo Center wasn't immune to a sea of orange and blue.
That was crazy.
Don't worry, the refs will somehow be blamed for that one too. But even...
Hey, I will say this. Hey, Knicks fans showed the fuck out this season, man. Knicks fans traveled in these playoffs. Like, I've seen the footage of Knicks fans taking over what's Wells Fargo Arena. I'm not sure if that's still the arena, but boy, that motherfuckers traveled. No way I'm about to play a home game and I wouldn't say a majority, but a big portion of fans in the arena are rooting for the away team. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. I think in Indiana it didn't happen as much because obviously the travels, you have to travel to fucking Indiana compared to driving a couple hours from Philly to New York. But shout out Knicks fans, man. Y'all traveled.
For another predictable series loss, this one doesn't feel as miserable. Tyrese Maxey broke out into a superstar. Did you see his Game 5? Fucking incredible. Now if Embiid manages to stay healthy, they may be able to see the third round for once. It mostly depends on their offseason. They're probably gonna throw all the money at PG-13. Anything to get rid of Tobias fucking Harris.
I still think the Sixers, we always want to blame the supporting cast. And again, same thing with Kawhi, bro. Like, I'm not saying Joel Embiid wants to be injured, but they, especially because of how impactful Joel Embiid is to that team, which is something that we've given credit for, to the tune of giving him an MVP, that team goes as far as Joel Embiid's health go. I'm sorry, bro. Like, if we're building this unit around a dude that can average 34, 12, and 2 on a nightly basis on crazy efficiency, and that's how we're moving and rolling our offensive sets and even defensively as well, and that undershots in the playoffs to a 27 to 28 point per game scorer, 12 rebounds turned to 9 or 10. He's just not moving the way we've been training and we've been playing throughout the whole regular season. Like, that's too big of an adjustment in the playoffs to make. And that just makes the team a completely different team in the playoffs. So Joel Embiid's health. Joel Embiid, I don't think he should play in the Olympics. I think he committed to the team, but I truly think Joel Embiid should back out. Not even because of just this, but I truly think, like, Joel Embiid's injury history, boy, like, motherfuckers are talking about, like, it goes beyond basketball at this point. Like, it's bad, bro. He's the one player in the league where I can genuinely just watch him and see that, yo, this guy isn't 100% healthy. Like, I understand he's 7 feet tall, but he's moving like shit hurts. And I have this conspiracy theory about Joel Embiid that the reason why he foul baits as much as he can isn't necessarily just because of the X's and O's of the game and, you know, he's trying to get his points per game up or whatever. I truly do think Joel Embiid's body is so banged up that he has added to his game the ability to go to the line in order to control the pace of the game and slow it down. Because if it becomes a game where he has to go back and forth and run a lot, like, that's a game that Joel's body just cannot handle. It just can't, in my opinion. So I don't know what y'all think about that conspiracy theory. I think there's some merit to that, in my opinion.
A goose egg in Game 7. Take a bow. You can't shit on Orlando for going out like this. It's been actual ages since the Magic have been anywhere near relevant, and they took a franchise with far more pressure on them to the brink. This was their learning experience year. They have a potential star core that can lead to more in the future, and they're very, very young. When in doubt, trust in Paulo Banchero. Orlando's problem is one facing many teams. They just don't have enough. Their offense lacks depth and consistency, and the offseason could lead to a fix there. Have you noticed how much cap space they have? If I'm Orlando, I'm licking my damn chops with what's available for the taking. It's the return of a long-lost age for the Magic. They will load. What a strange feeling this is. If I had an award to give for best comedy, it'd go to the Bucks unanimously. What a hilarious shit show for everyone and their mother to witness. One of the best records in basketball, masking a shitload of team issues and locker room tension.
That's tough, because all I remember now is the conversations going into the season about Dame and Giannis and how unstoppable they were going to be. And I just don't think, maybe they just need another season under them, but they just never really truly figured out how to be dominant together. I think they were figuring some things out by the end of the season, but obviously Giannis's injury happened. Dame's injury happened, you know. So I think obviously this is not a let's blow it up again type of season. Obviously it's their first fucking season together and they were injured. I can't really say I'm excited as a Celtics fan to see how they play next year, but I think next year hopefully is going to be the season that Bucks fans expected for this past season. I think depending on the moves that they make this summer, hopefully, you know, Doc Rivers can actually have the proper time to establish a system and establish chemistry in that locker room so that they can be much more effective in this upcoming season. But yeah, I just remember, bro, this season was supposed to be in the East. Celtics, Bucks, neck and neck. Clear 1 and 2 in the East, and then everybody else. That was the conversations everyone was having. You know, as soon as Kristaps signed with the Celtics, the conversation was like, oh, I remember motherfuckers didn't even take that signing seriously because of the matchup specifically against the Bucks and how the Bucks were not going to be able to stop, how the Celtics, were not going to be able to stop the interior presence of Giannis. And the rim pressure that Dame would be able to provide with the Dame and Giannis pick and roll and all of this shit. Like, I remember those conversations, bro.
Adrian Griffin was overmatched in the role, lost the trust of the players, and was beheaded in front of.
Hey, shout out Adrian Griffin, bro. He shouldn't have been fired. He shouldn't have been fired.
Apparently, a 2008 vintage. Fucking Doc Rivers, Griffin's mentor. Are you trying to blow games or something? In-season collapse is a lack of roster cohesion and the inevitable feeling they'd lose to an inferior opponent on paper with just a smattering of features available. The rest were injuries to Dame and Giannis. A 2-for-1 deal. Not that it mattered, they were a mess with them dressed anyway. This was a cratering so massive that they lost to a team that hadn't won a series in a decade. Back-to-back ugly first-round losses to go with the head coach carousel have proven that the Bucks owe their good reputation to a toe on the three-point line. Any other outcome, they'd be the chokers of the decade. The only accurate passing by the Bucks in April was Pat Bev throwing the ball at fans. I cannot comment any further on his actions since...
Hold on, did he... You see the fan cash that shit? Hold on.
Was Pat Bev throwing the ball at fans.
Okay. Oh,
I cannot comment any further on his actions since I'm not subscribed to his podcast.
They know what a pro wants.
What a pro needs.
Whatever makes me happy.
Sets you free.
Yo.
And I'm thanking you for knowing exactly what a pro wants, what a pro needs.
Yo, fuck these commercials, bro. I have never been so annoyed at NBA commercials a day in my life, bro. The Google Pixel commercial, what a pro wants, no flex zone. Yo, fuck B-dubs. Just because of that. I'm pretty sure it was B-dubs. If it's not, shout out B-dubs. Bro, these commercials were annoying, bro. I think there was one with the slow down, baby. That song too. Oh my God. Jeez. I ain't gonna lie, bro. This is the problem with watching too much NBA, bro. Because of how much they reuse these commercials and these songs, it truly makes you hate certain songs, bro. I think when Damn came out by Kendrick, they was spamming Humble. They were spamming Humble. What was that in the that probably was the 2017 or 18 finals, maybe even both. They were spamming Humble. DNA was getting hella fucking plays. When KOD dropped, count it up, count it. Oh my God, bro.
Whatever makes me happy sets me free. And I'm thanking you for knowing exactly what a pro wants, what a pro needs. Whatever makes me happy.
You deserve to lose with that fucking commercial alone. Short the shit out of...
I'll say this, just a side note that I should have noticed. But, bro, giving Luka 3 lob threats in the starting lineup is kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy, man. If you really think about it, bro, like, they got 3 lob threats. Derrick Jones Jr., PJ Washington, Derek Lively / Daniel. They got like 4 fucking lob threats on that team. That's why they're that lob game, man. This might be in terms of just their lob game, I guess. I think this team is better than the Lob City Clippers, bro. For real.
Of AT&T. Don't be too upset, OKC. With that cap space and extremely young roster, you'll be back. Title defense, huh? What the fuck was that? Is this supposed to be the mark of a champion? The Nuggets were 2 contrasting franchises against Minnesota. First 2 games, fucking terrible, smacked around at Mile High. Somehow unable to stop a damn ant and 2 giants by his side. Then bring reality into the picture with 3 straight wins. Their true potential realized to the brink. Endless chances to finish off and bury these Wolves in a mass grave. So what the hell was Game 6? Denver went to shit. Actual shit. How do you not score double digits in the 4th quarter? As a team. And Game 7 turned out to be even worse. Championship contenders tend to hold 20-point leads, you know. Did anyone show up in this series besides Murray and Joker? Michael
that
Porter
was
Jr.,
crazy,
you
y'all.
there? Maybe they can make a three-pointer when needed. Good lord, what an absolute disaster. Minnesota saw a complacent team and pounced.
That was
It's
the game
just
right there.
teabagging your grave.
That was the
This is more
game.
humiliating than that Brazilian Twitter account.
Dad Donovan's been from New York, cheering his son on.
When will people learn? We've been over this fucking scenario
When will you
countless
learn,
times
old
over the last
man?
decade, yet they keep tempting fate. It's like the Candyman. So you want Boston 3 times in front of a basketball court. Don't be shocked about what happens as a result. The Celtic Candyman likes to take a pound of flesh or 6 from those that call to him. As he swings his knife, he took out a bunch of players. Donovan Mitchell out for the last few games of the series. Then comes back and takes out LeVert and Allen too. Slaughtered. No mercy.
That's unfortunate.
Everyone and their mother's now pissed at Jarrett, but it's indicative of the Caps franchise. They've stalled out, not developing as expected. Chaos and concern around every corner. JV Bickerstaff's seat is searing hot as the team keeps collapsing in big situations. Are the lights still too bright for them? Where do they go from here? Hope for the third coming of La
Cavs?
GM? Better luck of winning the Powerball.
I don't even think the lights have ever been too bright for the Cavs, bro. I didn't like their finding of JB Bickerstaff. Now apparently Cavs fans are actually happy about that, but I don't know, bro. I just think the first Donovan Mitchell season, y'all faced against the Knicks and they just outplayed y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was a 50-50 series anyway. It wasn't like a crazy disappointment that y'all lost. Y'all lost in 6. You know what I'm saying? And then against the Magic against the Celtics this season again, were y'all gonna be favored even if y'all were fully healthy? No. Did I have the Celtics still winning even if y'all were fully healthy? Absolutely. But firing JB Bickerstaff because of the fact that, you know, his team that was banged up wasn't able to beat the Boston Celtics, who was, again, going to be favored even if he had his squad fully healthy. I just don't. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all, bro.
Then transported to the mid-90s. The Indiana Pacers humiliating the New York Knicks in the playoffs. Some more expect Reggie Miller's doing the choking taunt with this revelation. So what caused their demise? Everyone pretty much died. That's all there is to it. Julius Randle's been out since April due to a season ender. Bojan Bogdanovic got shot from range against Philly. Mitchell Robinson lost his ankle again in game 1 of the damn series. OG's hamstring decided to get finicky.
It's so unfortunate, bro, because I've made videos on this channel raving about the 65-game rule and how, oh my goodness, like this is actually one of the healthiest regular seasons we've had in history. You know what I'm saying? There were so many injury-prone players that were having some of the healthiest seasons of their career, specifically the LA guys. Harden, Kawhi, PG, AD, LeBron. I think there was too much made about Joel Embiid's injury when that happened. But outside of that, like this wasn't relative. Zion, another guy who had his healthiest season so far. Like a lot of dudes played a lot of games, and it was just unfortunate that as soon as boom, the play-in tournament starts, everything just collapsed, bro. Everything just collapsed.
Worst possible time. Then add even more on top of that. Not bad enough the Knicks somehow
That's
got punished for
unfortunate.
crimes dating back to Isaiah Thomas. With their roster decimated, Indiana continues their survival by simply
Shout out
not
Nembar,
fucking
bro.
up. Although I don't know if shooting 67% from the floor in a Game 7 is merely passable. A magical run undone by the clock striking midnight. As it happens, Jalen Brunson breaks his hand. It was over by that point anyway. Oh no, you guys, ESPN can't talk about the Knicks for 4/5 of the broadcast. What a horrible tragedy.
I'm actually really excited for the East in the future. Like if y'all want to say the East was weak this year, that's fine. I truly do think it is not a weak conference right now. It's just the way things panned out in the playoffs. It was a weaker. It's the weaker conference, and in the playoffs, it was a weak conference because of the injuries. But if everyone is healthy, I understand that's not realistic. But like the talent level is there for this conference to be good. I will stand by that. And a lot of teams, I think, have really established themselves as, you know, motherfuckers are going to be problems in the conference in the future. I think the Magic with internal improvements from Paolo are going to be dangerous moving forward. And just offseason moves as well, right? They have a lot of cap space to work with. Clearly, their problem is offense. They're already one of the best defenses in the league. If they can improve that offense, that's going to be scary to see. New York, I think New York is going to be a consistent player moving forward. Milwaukee, I think them having a offseason, a proper training camp routine going into the playoffs and everyone being healthy, going into the season, and everyone being healthy, I think they will be a bigger problem next season. I feel like I'm forgetting names already. I think the Miami Heat have really high potential in terms of the moves that they can make in the offseason. I think the 76ers, I understand Joel Embiid, is an injury-prone player, but I think they will continue to be players, and they also have a lot of cap space to work with. They might, bolster their team. Indiana, I think this is a team that I would love to see how they play with Pascal Siakam starting the season with them, with Tyrese Halliburton hopefully continuing to improve and hopefully having a healthier season next season. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm excited for the East, bro. Like, I think a lot of the teams that made the playoffs this season are teams that have a clear path to improvement, and they already weren't bad already as is. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the 8, though, I don't know what Chicago is gonna do. Atlanta, I don't know. I'm done trusting them until they show me something. Brooklyn, again, I'm not trusting them. Toronto, Charlotte, Washington, Detroit. So if you want to look at like the last 6 in the East compared to the last 6 in the West, especially next season with how the West could still even be better. I still think the East is going to be the weaker conference, but in terms of it being this 2000, like early 2000s, honestly, all the 2000s East, and the 2010s East, I don't think it's going to be that. I don't think it's going to be that at all.
This was the chance for the Timberwolves to overcome every single narrative out there, to turn themselves into household names, to get that last laugh about the Rudy Gobert trade, to show the world that they're for real. Nas Reed, for Christ's sake! Stereotypes exist for a reason. In typical Minnesota fashion, the Wolves became Kyrie's philosophy on the earth. Flat. You make all of that noise for the first time in decades and emerges as a superstar, and you lay a gigantic egg in Game 5? The Wolves had a significant advantage in the paint. All the maps feature are Luka's endless whining and Kanye Irving. It'd be nice if that advantage came true. They couldn't convert from range. Cat could have had a machine gun and he still would have missed his shots. As the team is yelled at in film sessions, they're at the crossroads. The window is sprung open, but time is short. Massive extensions for Cat and Ant are kicking in. The Stifle Tower's got a player option after next season. And role players are going to be free agents this summer. These next few months will be the difference between a disaster and the first title in Minnesota since HW was president.
I think if there's a team, and they've already proven me wrong, but I think because every season there's going to be teams that dip, there's going to be teams that overachieve. I think with the way their offseason may potentially go, I unfortunately do think the Timberwolves may be a team that takes a bigger dip than I feel like a lot of us expect. I think a lot of us are expecting, oh my God, they're a young team being led by Anthony Edwards. They're going to be back next season. If they won 56 this season, imagine another offseason, right? Right, guys? I think they might dip to like 52 to 51 wins next season and be closer to a 5-6 seed, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? Which is fine. I still think they're going to be a really solid team. But, yeah, with the cap situation that they got, and the holes that they have on their team, I don't know. We'll just see. We'll just see.
There's work to be done. Get busy. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the Pacers are no longer up against an injury-riddled mess or living soap opera. They get Boston. Even if the fans plead for mercy, the Celtics are simply going to kill their firstborn sons to prevent the state from thriving again.
Oh, yeah.
For Indiana, that sacrifice is going to be Tyrese Halliburton. Turns out tempting fate has its consequences. The rest comes in the games themselves. Game 1 up by 3. All you have to do is you fuck the ball. And Jaylen Brown tied a game in the final moments, and you blow it. Great. Game 3. A 16-point lead in the third quarter. hold this lead in the series as they blow.
That game two was
4,
crazy, bro.
another lead. They blew it again. No points in the final 3.5 minutes. Yeah, this team is cursed. A tremendous season delivered with a punch to the face. Now the question lies with Pascal Siakam. Does he want to stay here or will he pull a PG-13 and move on? Do they simply try for PG-13 again? They have the cap space to do it. Larry Bird isn't going to try to make him into a power forward again. It still stings nonetheless. What the hell could have caused such pain? Every damn
I like the
time.
confidence, man. I like the
Oh,
confidence.
what fantastic shit shows we had on display here. The super teams crumbling into dust sprinkled on top of an endless wave of injuries to key players. It's a war of attrition.
What would y'all rate these playoffs so far, man? What would y'all rate these playoffs so far? I think obviously in the moment everything is fun, everything is fine. But I do think I would have liked to see more game 7s. I would have liked to see more 6-7 game series. Obviously I would have liked to see the Eastern Conference much more healthy and better series on that side of things. But I don't know, bro. There were just too many sweeps, I feel like. Too many 5-game series. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Though.
There are only 2 teams that remain standing. Dallas against
yeah!
Boston. I wonder what
It's
side
us!
most of the world's gonna be on. Quite impressive of the Mavericks to revive from, let me look up the words I said about them last year. The gigantic train wreck.
Listen, bro. Listen. I'm gonna get this off before the finals actually starts. Y'all not about to gaslight me into thinking that the Celtics are not doubted. Alright? Y'all not about to gaslight me into thinking it is not the Celtics versus the world. You know what I'm saying? 2 things can be true. The Celtics can still be favored in the series, and it's still Celtics versus the world. Alright? Everyone wants the Mavs to win. Not everyone, but a lot of people do not like the Celtics. A lot of people are rooting for my team's downfall, my city's downfall. All right? And both things can be true. A lot of people do not have the Celtics winning because they don't trust the Boston Celtics. You know, there are a lot of hate picks out there. A lot of bases are rooting against us. You know what I'm saying? So it is still us against the world. But at the same time, we're not underdogs. But at the same time, like, damn, I've had so many motherfuckers like, yo, what's your predictions in the finals? And like, a lot of people are saying Mavs. Like, when someone like legitimate, maybe it's just my circle. When I ask someone like, yo, who you got in the finals, and they say Celtics, outside of like motherfuckers in Boston, it's like I'm surprised. Like, oh, okay, damn, you actually got the Celtics winning. But
the total disaster was quickly recovered on the backs of 2 superstars that developed a chemistry that's the envy of the league. Luka and Kyrie. The team depth hasn't been there for the most part, but when Doncic is pulling the bullshit he has on a consistent basis, who needs it? PJ Washington's been the third wheel of this group, being a solid trade deadline piece for the team. Plus, there's the dreaded law firm of Derek, and Daniel as forwards and big men. In these finals, the 2-headed monster is going up against the basketball equivalent of a Death Star. Do you try to stop Jason Tatum? Or perhaps Jaylen Brown can be controlled? If they can, you have to deal with the ageless Al Horford. What about Drew Holiday? Making us realize that Boston was the real winner of the Dame trade. Let's not forget the Swiss Army knife known as Derek White. Also note that Porzingis was out for a good chunk of these playoffs. And they still dominated regardless of opposing injuries. On paper, the Celtics have the depth and advantage in the paint, but Dallas more than makes up for it with high-end star power. Either way, we will be getting a somewhat fresh champion. Building a statue for Luka or for Billy King. Now, I firmly believe that the Mavs will make this an interesting series unless the fans do something like tempt fate or defy the gods. Congrats to the Celtics on the series win.
Let it play out. It's over. At last, the long wait is over. After 47 years, the Denver Nuggets.
God, that lame ass final. Now let me chill. Hey man, haters guide to the 2024 NBA Finals, man. I'm here. We're here, chat. We're here, man. This the finale. This the grand finale, bro. This shit is about to be so toxic. You know, you got You got one of the most toxic fan bases in the league in the finals with an actual shot to win the shit, and everyone against them. And I feel like if the Celtics lose, we will see a historic amount of slander, a historic amount of pack being smoked on a timeline, because every single other team is not rooting for this fucking franchise. But at the same token, if the Celtics do win, you will see the most toxic fan base show why they're the most toxic fan base. And I will be a part of it. And I will be a part of it. Don't get it mistaken now. Alright? This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. I am enjoying these NBA finals. I will be at the edge of my seat. I will be streaming every single game. We will be watching it on playback. And I also will be streaming on Twitch as well, if that is your preferred platform. Excuse me. And I'm hyped, man. I'm excited. Alright? With that being said, I'm going to catch y'all tonight, man. Peace.